I give you the incredible and magnificent Fred Saenz. Fred, thanks for being with us today, bud.
Thank you, Dave. Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear, my friend.
Okay, perfect.
Yes.
All right. Well, Captain Dave, I just want to thank you for a second, and Miss Katie and Drew and the crew for a really bang-up job on the product and the website and all that is coming that I won't be revealing on this call, but that I'm privy to. And I just know that this is going to be an epic year, 2018. We're really spiking the ball in the end zone today, so I want to get on with things as soon as possible. But again, a big shout-out to the crew and the staff and the management and the leaders which hold this whole thing together. And we've been waiting since we revealed the BMax in March, and it's been so many months. It's been the longest year of my life to get this thing to this point, and I'm very excited about going over our brand new whole food vegan formula, BMax multivitamin and antioxidant monster capsule. This is, again, as usual, a clean label formula. There's no mag stearates, there's no silicone dioxide, there's nothing goofy. I needed every square millimeter of that capsule to pack all of this in. So I'm going to start with the basics and just let you know up front, when you add this to your day, you are going to potentiate everything you are currently taking by 40, 45, 50%. I mean, there's a lot of people that have had a lot of good results, weight loss, pain reduction, and you name it. This is the icing on the cake. This is the one you've been waiting for, because now you're going to go into that repair zone with these vitamins. So I'm going to start with the essential vitamins. These are essential vitamins that you have to have. And those are the A, the B, the C, the D, the E, K2, and we've got some wonderful antioxidants and some other miracle workers in there in the form of astaxanthin and silica. So we're going to cover, starting with vitamin A. Again, vitamin A is very easy to remember. It's retinoids. Retinoids sound like retina with your eyeball, and the other form of vitamin A is carotenoids. The word carotenoids comes from carrots, which of course are the best form of beta-carotene. Now, since the product is vegan and vegetarian, we don't have any animal products in here, so that eliminates retinoids, which you get from animal products. That's the normal way of getting vitamin A, and where there's really not a lot of deficiency in vitamin A, but there can be. And because modern life has now injected into our day some things that are doing some serious damage to the eye, I'm going to cover that very quickly by just explaining that vitamin A protects the eye, the cornea, which is the outside surface of the eye, and underneath that is the pupil, which is the lens that opens and closes and lets the light in. Behind that is the actual lens of the eye. Now, the body replaces all of that except the lens. The lens is never replaced. It is permanent. But you can do damage to the cornea and the pupil by many things: excessive sunlight, not wearing sunglasses, staring into your cell phone and your computers. These put off blue light. Blue light damages the cornea and the pupils. And so we need something in our diets every day. And if you're not eating things that are orange and yellow, these are the carotenoids, some reds, then you're probably deficient. Only 10% of Americans are eating enough veggies and fruits. So this is a crisis that we need to address with a supplement. Now, there's two kinds of vitamins. There's the fat-soluble ones and the water-soluble ones. In this case, we're going to be talking about mostly fat-soluble. Vitamin B12 and C are water-soluble. We'll cover those in a second. So blue light damage, staring into your phone, checking your Facebook, waking up in the morning, spending 30 minutes in the dim light, staring at blue light, bad for your eyes. And to repair that, you need sufficient vitamin A. It's a basic vitamin. Again, it's not something that most people are shy on. If you have trouble seeing in the dark, if you have trouble adjusting from bright light to darkness, you could be low on vitamin A. But again, we have a plant-based carotenoid formula. And so carotenoids are pro-vitamin A. The body converts beta-carotene to retinol, and this is what I consider the safe way to do it, because most vitamins out there, most formulas include a synthetic vitamin A, which is toxic. Vitamin A, along with most of these vitamins we're going to discuss today, are fat-soluble. That means they collect in the body. They're stored in the liver and other organs, unlike the water-soluble vitamins, which are not. So it's important that you don't overdo certain vitamins because they can become toxic, especially the synthetic ones. So when you see on the back of a label of brand X vitamin and it says beta-carotene, that's a synthetic. Unless it says beta-carotene from something like carrots or whatever else, then you're getting a synthetic. If you see retinol palmate, these are synthetics, and they're very cheap and they're very, very cost-effective, so most manufacturers use the synthetics. But they will build up in your liver and they will become toxic. And so to avoid that, you can never become toxic when you use carotenoids from carrots, and we use organic carrots, not regular carrots that are sprayed with 22 chemicals and pesticides. We use organic carrots to cover the vitamin A. So there's vitamin A. I'm going to try to spend only a couple minutes on each. Vitamin B2, we can hop over this. This is a water-soluble vitamin. Everybody is already taking vitamin B12. It's really in the formula because I had to put it there. We couldn't call it BMax. But we already know about our Bs and what they do, and we know that B12 is essential. So I put a dash in there, and this is, for me, just that much more antioxidant capability because you need one molecule of B12 to detoxify one molecule of whatever poisonous you ingest. It doesn't matter whether it's chemicals or it's, damage from other ingredients. So, again, B12 is in there as a sidebar. That lets us skip right to vitamin C. Now, vitamin C, how do I explain a very complicated subject? Okay, you have a maid that cleans your house. She takes the trash out to the curb. That's glutathione. That's intracellular. That's inside the cell. What cleans up inside the cell is that glutathione, and it puts the trash out on the curb. And then vitamin C is the garbage man. It comes by and picks up all of this garbage that your cells have excreted in the process of producing energy and whatever else cells do. But without the vitamin C, without this garbage takeaway, then the entire neighborhood soon is overrun with garbage and disease. And this is what happens when you lack vitamin C. Now, vitamin C comes in two forms. It comes naturally and it comes synthetically. And the synthetic one is the cheapest and the most popular. Unfortunately, these come from toxic genetically modified corn plants, mostly from China. So the cheap synthetic is toxic. We don't want to use that. So we had to locate a vitamin C that was non-GMO, a vitamin C that was non-toxic, not sprayed with a bunch of stuff, not messed with the genes or anything like that. And that is from Scotland. So we located some non-genetically modified vitamin C from Scotland to include it in the formula. And again, there's a doctor named Thomas Levy. He's a cardiologist. He's also a JD. He's got a law degree and a medical degree. This guy's a genius. Yeah, he wrote a great book. He's got a great YouTube video that explains how important vitamin C is. Now, vitamin C by itself is missing the complementary bouquet of other vitamin C components. Vitamin C just doesn't come in nature by itself like everything else. There's multiple forms of it. So ascorbic acid is what you get when you put vitamin C in most formulas. If it's non-GMO, that's the preferred kind. And consider vitamin C like the rock star of a band, like Mick Jagger or Elvis. On their own, yes, they're fantastic, but without the backup band, it's not complete. And so we have natural vitamin C from camu camu, which is the world's highest amount of vitamin C in any fruit on the planet. It used to be acerola cherries, and now camu camu from Brazil, from the Amazon. And so we've included not only vitamin C, we've got Elvis. We've got the band that backs it up. We've got natural vitamin C with all of the important ascorbigens, flavonoids, rutins, cortisons, tyrosinase, and your factors J, K, and P. Now we have a complete vitamin C, which is ultimately many times more powerful for removing the garbage from your body and letting it, get out of you. So again, vitamin C is that shuttle, that cleaner upper, that very essential service, and without it, we actually fall apart. Dr. Levy is very clear on how he believes that most heart disease is a lack of vitamin C. It's scurvy of the heart. If you've got bleeding gums, you're low on vitamin C. That's scurvy of the periodontal tissues. So vitamin C is essential to keep your heart in good shape and all of your arteries. If your arteries get too thin from lack of C, which is part of the collagen process, then your arteries become transparent. They show up as varicose veins, and this is a thin-walled artery or coronary artery or a vein or a capillary. And by adding vitamin C, spread out during the day, because vitamin C doesn't last very long, only about 4 or 5 hours. If you spread out your vitamin C during the day, you have sufficient antioxidant capabilities to keep that collagen in your skin, on your veins, in the veins, on the walls of your veins, nice and thick and flexible. Very important to do, and vitamin C works from the inside out. No amount of vitamin C on the surface is going to help you. You have to ingest vitamin C for it to do its thing. So vitamin C, super important, and again, I'll be online on Facebook adding to this body of knowledge, but this is the basics. Okay, now we're skipping down to vitamin D. Now, vitamin D is from the sun, period. There is really no way to get it naturally unless you get sun. But we've been freaked out over the last 40 years about sun causing cancer. And, of course, if you sit out in the sun too long and you get burned, you could end up with skin problems like cancer and melanoma. But what's worse is putting toxic skincare products like suntan lotions and sunblocks and then having that bake on your skin. That's a real quick way of getting skin cancer. So vitamin D from the sun is what we're supposed to do, but we don't, because most of us are working indoors. We live indoors. We live our lives indoors. We just don't get out enough. And in the wintertime, it's impossible because the sun and the angle of the sun doesn't provide enough vitamin D. So if you live north of Atlanta, Georgia, you need to supply additional vitamin D, especially at the beginning of winter, which is so perfect for this product to come out just now, because we're at the beginning of winter, and this is the time you want to pound down that vitamin D and store it up and let your liver dispense it over the winter time like we normally do. We get a lot of sun, stores up in the liver and in other organs, and then the body disseminates that during the winter so that you don't get a host of problems that come with a low vitamin D level. So vitamin D is essential. There's two kinds, D2 and D3, and both camps are being, they're very convinced that their version is the best. But we just happened to stumble on to a brand new source of vitamin D. These are mushrooms. It turns out mushrooms, if you expose them to sun, make vitamin D2, D3, and D4. And so we said, hey, let's include the button mushroom that's been exposed to ultraviolet light. Basically, they take mushrooms, they grow them, and they put them on tanning beds for an hour. And they brown, and when they brown, they make these particular forms of vitamin D. And so there are a lot of people are going to say, no, D3 is the best, D2 isn't as effective. Well, that's over with. We don't have to argue that point anymore, because mushrooms, which aren't a plant or an animal, they're a fungus, they come to the rescue by producing all three kinds of vitamin D2. So it's essential that you get your D, especially as winter rolls in. And, of course, getting D with your shirt off or in a bikini or something, a substantial amount of skin exposure for about 20 minutes 3 times a week will take care of your vitamin D. And if you don't get that much D, then you need to supplement. So the right kind is from mushrooms, and the right mushrooms are organic mushrooms. So they're not sprayed. They don't absorb chemicals. These are grown indoors, climate controlled, in an organic situation. So this is a fat-soluble vitamin, again, very important. And we've chosen the mushrooms so that we don't have to fight over which is better, what form, whether it comes from wool or it comes from lichen or other plants that produce vitamin D2. So we've got it all covered, all the bases covered with this particular form of vitamin D from the organic button mushroom. Okay, then we hop down to vitamin E. Now, vitamin E is like a traffic cop. It protects your red blood cells. It protects your vitamin C, your vitamin A, your essential fatty acids from rusting, oxidation. The body will rejuvenate and recirculate your vitamin C, your vitamin A, and your EFAs if you have sufficient vitamin E. And, of course, all of these come in toxic synthetic forms. and we use none of them. All of ours are from natural sources. In this particular case, vitamin E is from non-GMO sunflower, which is safe, and you cannot overdose on natural forms of A or D or E or K because the body self-regulates them because it's in the food you eat. The only time you're in trouble is when you supplement with synthetics, which is the vast majority of the products out there are carrying the inexpensive, or should I call it cheap, synthetics. No such luck. We are going to maintain our clean label, and we're going to maintain a non-toxic profile. So we searched high and low until we found this particular vitamin E from India. And again, it's a very important vitamin to have to protect your vitamins that are in circulation and your red blood cells from oxidation. Now, vitamin K, this is amazing. We're going to get down to the last three things in here, and this is going to get seriously crazy. So you have to understand that I, as a civilian, not a doctor, I enjoy doing the research that you don't have time to. So when I go digging for this kind of stuff and I find this information, it's an imperative of mine to pass this along to you because nobody's reading this. Now, K2 must be taken with D, period. And I mentioned traffic cop earlier. It's vitamin K2 is the traffic cops that keeps the calcium in your body from ending up in your tissues and in your arteries. It guides the calcium to your bones and your teeth. It's super important, and without it, you're toast. And I mean, serious problems happen when you don't get enough K2. Not K1 and not K3, the synthetic, just K2. And, of course, we use natural K2 from chickpea, and I'll give you some stats on this that will blow you away. Daily consumption of more than 32 micrograms of dietary K2 led to a 50% reduction of arterial calcification, a 50% reduction of cardiovascular risk, a 25% reduction of all-cause mortality. And then it goes on. I'm reading from the book of Mercola. Those who consume 45 micrograms of K2, lived 7 years longer than those only getting 12 micrograms per day. Okay? And now none of these studies found this in K1 or K3, only K2. So again, this is a study of 16,000 healthy women for 8 years, and again, for every 10 micrograms of vitamin K2 consumed, your cardiovascular risk was reduced by 9%. So this is heart protective. It keeps the calcium where it belongs and not hardening your arteries and making them brittle and prone to blowing out, strokes and ischemic clots and all sorts of things that happen to the heart if you don't have K2. So there's no taking D without K2. Okay, and we have the finest K2 available in the product. Okay, and now we get down to things that are not vitamins. These are ingredients that had to be included because they're so mind-bending. They're so powerful. The research coming out on these things is so cutting edge that to exclude them from the formula would have been a crime. And I'm talking about another carotenoid called astaxanthin. And if you haven't looked up astaxanthin, you can go to Dr. Mercola's site and read all about it. This is a mind-blowing ingredient that is so powerful and as a free radical scavenger. And there's two kinds of work that astaxanthin repairs. It scavenges free radicals, and it quenches, it's called singlet oxygen, and I'll explain that in a second. Inside your body, as you rust and produce oxidation, your body scavenges these free radicals. Astaxanthin is amazing. It's 65 times more powerful than vitamin C. It's 54 times stronger than beta-carotene for free radical scavenging. And then on the surface of your skin, these carotenoids, including astaxanthin, go and act as sunglasses, shades for your skin. It repairs the damage done by sunlight and microwave damage. Now, I bring up microwaves because they're invisible, and they're all around us. Wi-Fi routers, cell phone towers, everybody's cell phone is constantly communicating with Apple, you name it. And this microwave beam strikes your skin, which is the first line of defense, and causes oxidative damage that translates into cell death and and increases the aging process. The more you're bombarded by sunlight damage and microwave damage, the faster the exterior of you ages and looks older. So we need to reverse that. So astaxanthin not only helps you do the free radical scavenging inside your body as you need it, but it also scavenges at the surface of the skin the damage done by these invisible rays. Now, as a singlet oxygen quencher, astaxanthin is 800 times stronger than coenzyme Q10. It's 6,000 times greater than vitamin C, and 550 times more powerful than green tea catechins, which is a very powerful antioxidant. And, of course, 11 times stronger than beta-carotene. So these collect on the surface, shield you and protect you from the bombardment of the invisible things in life. And if you haven't heard the statistic, since the 1960s, there's 6 billion times more microwaves in the atmosphere than we used to have in the 60s, simply because of modern society and adopting the wireless communications era. So we're in it. We can't get away from it. I tell everybody, keep your cell phones far away from you as possible. Don't put them to your head. But when you're just walking around or at the mall or anywhere, you're being bombarded by hundreds of cell phone antennas and microwave transmitters from all over the map. So it's important to have astaxanthin in there to protect you from this damage, not only internally but externally. It also helps you rejuvenate your face and anything that's made from collagen, anything that's got a skin surface to it. So this is a very powerful thing. The information out there on Mercola and other places is amazing. It's just mind-blowing. And so I urge everybody to look it up because this is a rather new thing. Now, where does astaxanthin come from? It comes from red algae. And that red algae is eaten by flamingos, and it makes flamingos turn pink. Shrimp do the same thing. Salmon, they get their color from astaxanthin, which is a red algae that has this powerful free radical scavenging capability. So we stuck a bunch of it in there, and I'm sure that you're going to see at least a difference as you start to take this over time, as your body can actually improve the repair process. And then finally, last but definitely not least on the formula here, is bamboo silica. Now, this is another cutting-edge, brand-new thing that's just been discovered. It's not out there. Nobody else has it in their formula. And the doctor that discovered this, Dr. Chris Exley, E-X-L-E-Y, from Keele University in England, did a study where he gave people silica that had Alzheimer's and aluminum in the brain, and discovered that silica binds with aluminum and escorts it out. And nothing else does it. So since we are bombarded by aluminum, because it's in all medications, they use it. It's in salt. It's in baking powders. If you bake a potato in aluminum, you get like 400 milligrams of aluminum. You don't want to cook with aluminum. You don't want to bake with aluminum. You don't want to wrap anything with aluminum. You want to eliminate aluminum from your life as much as possible. That includes deodorants that are made from aluminum because these are toxic. Every time you wipe a deodorant with aluminum under your arm, you get 1 gram of aluminum. That's an enormous amount. And aluminum is a neurotoxin. It is according to the literature and the research, it is tied into Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, and a host of other things that go wrong in the brain. And it's coming in from all sides. It's in the air we breathe. It's falling from the sky. There's a project to reflect the sunlight from the earth to save us from global warming, and they're spraying aluminum powder. You see the jets go by with the very long trails. That's not condensation. That's not vapor. There's some idiots out there that are trying to tell us that that's condensation, like when it's cold outside and you breathe and you see the condensation and then it evaporates. Those are contrails, and they're normal at high altitude for planes. But these giant streaks, that's a project that's been going on since the late 90s to save the Earth by reflecting the solar rays with aluminum powder. And it's about 90 metric tons per year sprayed into the air. That's coming down. That's attacking our eyes. That's attacking our lungs. And it's causing an epidemic of Alzheimer's and neurodegenerative diseases. So silica in your diet daily is essential to bind with that aluminum, which accumulates in your brain and in other organs, and pulls it out. Aluminum is removed very slowly from the body. There's no biological use for aluminum, and so the body just stores it. And the more silica you have in your diet, the better it removes it. So, again, removal of aluminum, very slow naturally, and it speeds up when you add silica. Now, normally silica in traditional senses has come from mineral waters or horsetail grass, but that's only 3 or 4% silica. They discovered that if you soak little baby bamboo plants in water, you get a 70% silica solution. And so we've included that in the formula so that you can have your dose of silica to go in there and pull that aluminum, which has been sitting in your brain for years. If you eat Tums, a sliced American cheese has 50 milligrams of aluminum in each slice to protect it from sticking to the plastic. Aluminum is everywhere. It's in all medications. It's in all pharmaceuticals, and we're pounding this stuff down. It's in Tylenol. They use it as a drying agent and a slippery agent, so a desiccation agent. So aluminum is horrible for us. No one's paying attention to it. Aluminum is one of those ingredients that gets a pass, and nobody's going to regulate it. They're spraying it all over the place, so we need help with aluminum removal because nothing is worse than not remembering your family's names the last 10 years of your life because Alzheimer's has set in. The problem is so bad, children as young as 8 are coming up with Alzheimer's. So this is how prevalent it is in the diet, it's in the atmosphere, and we need to help the body remove it. So bamboo silica is the #1 source for organic silica, and it does the job marvelously. There's a wonderful video by Dr. Exley on YouTube called Aluminum Toxicity Detoxify in capital letters. Watch his little 22-minute presentation, and you'll see all the charts and the graphs, which really I think is an exciting addition to a very, very powerful vitamin supplement, an antioxidant supplement. But sometimes things aren't addressed with these vitamins. So we need to step out of the box and find something to take care of what's really taking us down, what's really affecting our brains. So again, the way to take this product is before your meals, just like Be Safe and Be Pro. BMax is the final core product. We have 3 core products. You take those before your 3 meals, and then you are protected from the toxins and the ingredients that don't belong there, that companies put in there for their benefit, not for yours. And so it's, again, before meals, again, is because vitamin C doesn't last very long, so you want to spread it out during your day. So before meals is very important. And since these are fat-soluble vitamins, it's important that you have a little bit of fat with your diet. Now, high-fat and the protein diets are in. The ketogenic is in. If you're eating ketogenic, you're safe because you have a little bit of fat. But if you have to, do a little butter, a little oil, something. But you must include fat in that meal in order to break these vitamins down, or they just sit there. If you're a vegetarian and you're not doing any fat, animal fats, you're in trouble. And so when you take the vitamin, include a little bit of fat. Make sure you spread it out during your day. And finally, the one thing I always recommend is when you get your first bottle of BMax is to pound it down. Just saturate your body. Take 3 at a time with meals until you get through the first bottle. That'll bring all your levels up, which are stored in the body, and then you can just take 1 to 3 capsules a day as a maintenance, just to top off the tank. So this is what we have so far. This is what I consider, the period and exclamation point at the end of the sentence for the core products. Now, of course, you know that if you're going to get all your Bs, because we only put B12 in this, you need to reach over to the energy department and pick B-Free or B-Light or B-Light Extra, which has the full complement of Bs. You need them, and together the energy products along with the BMax makes the whole thing come to life. So it's very important that you get your full Bs, and now you have all the other vitamins that we've been waiting for a whole year to put into action. I can't wait to hear the stories of people that are trying the products and are losing weight or feeling great. I just can't wait to see that get better and better. So I'm as excited as it gets. I didn't get any sleep last night. I'm running on pure B-Light right now, and I just want to thank again everybody for waiting so long to roll out this monumental vitamin that really has no peer out there. And hat tip to Dr. Mercola, Dr. Suzanne Humphreys, Dr. Exley, Dr. Levy, all of my mentors that have taught me over the last 15 years what's what and what's real. And again, couldn't have done it without them, and I couldn't have done it without Dave.